Hello ladies and gentlemen, Xcentoro here and welcome back to another video. Now I hope all of you are doing well because I am as always, and in today's video we're going to be getting that really smooth landing. Now a smooth landing is something that a lot of people try to get, especially in infinite flight, and today we're going to achieve that. Now we're using the A330-300, which is literally a butter machine in this simulator. I'm in a Cathay Pacific aircraft, as you can all see, and we are at Hong Kong International Airport. Now I'm spawning in on the long final approach, which I've chosen in the settings. But yeah, let's get into this. I think we can get a really smooth landing. This is by far the best chance we have getting a smooth landing. So let's just do this quickly. Let's just check quickly as well that there is no audio on. There we go, because otherwise I'd have to re-record this and no one would be able to hear a thing. So we're gonna have to increase our speed a little bit, and it's just gonna take a few seconds to try and level this aircraft out to get it roughly where we want it. Now, to get the smoothest landing possible, I would highly recommend using this view that I'm using here right now, which is your HUD view. It's the first available option when you choose what view you want. Now I have also been a little bit naughty and I have set the wind conditions to 0 knots for gust and speed, so we will have no issue here. Now I'm just going to slowly adjust the trim, and the trim I'm going to go for is 25%, which is, we'll go 20%. I usually go between 15 and 25. Some people use upwards of 35%. I think in real life they use a lot higher than what I'm using right now, but I'm just using what I know I can fly well with, so that's probably our best option. So we're coming in quite smooth, quite level here. We have to go right just a little bit to realign with the center line of the runway, just a little bit more, but we're coming in very nice here. Now I'd like to be a little bit lower, but we're still good for the puppy lights, which are these little red and white ones in the center of your screen there. So that's how I know we're good for altitude. Also the altitude on the right of the screen, the little green diamond or tilted square actually indicates I need to be a bit higher. But again, I am very happy coming in low. I do prefer a low landing, and we're pretty good for the touchdown zone here. So I'm aiming right now for that big white square. So hopefully we'll be able to get that. Now unfortunately I can't hear the in-game callouts, so we're just gonna have to take our best guess on when to start that the little flare. So we're gonna do that now. We might have dropped a little bit too low there, but we're good. There we go. So that was a very smooth landing. Now we're just gonna hold up that flare and slowly bring the nose of the aircraft down. There we go. So that there was an extremely smooth landing there. I feel like we may be a little bit late with regards to the touchdown zone, but I can go back and just have a look at that in just 1 second. So let's go back to our logbook, which will be here, and we can look back at that landing and we can just see how smooth it was, and then we can try it again in a slightly different aircraft, which I also find very easy. So let's just go down here and watch it from here. Okay, so here we are. There we go. That's probably a better view, I reckon, or this one. Yeah, they're both equally good views. So we're just coming down. We do float just a little bit, but that again is a pretty smooth landing. And then you can see we've managed to keep the tilt of the aircraft up by keeping the nose in the air just a little bit longer. So that's actually pretty good. So let's see, what other aircraft? I think the A350 is a rather easy aircraft as well to get a smooth landing on. So we can do that in the Cathay Pacific as well. I think personally I just find Airbus aircraft just easier to get a smooth landing on. That might just be my personal preference, but yeah, so we can do that. For some reason it's put us to the other end of the runway, but that's perfectly fine. Now we're gonna have to up our speed again because it's spawned us in at a really low speed. Now let's just check the weight and balance of this aircraft, because I feel like it should be a little bit less. No, that's alright. If anything, we're probably too light now, but we'll confirm it. So again, the trim is preset at that 20%, which is actually quite nice. And we can just float in towards the airport. Now, can we, yeah, so the way the landing gear are tilted on there, I just want to try and show without going majorly off course. But yeah, they're sort of tilted downwards, so it means when we make our approach, we won't tilt too high up in the air. Now, we sort of want to be a little bit more level, and that should really enable us to get a bit of a cleaner connection, and I'm hoping with the gear on the ground. But okay, and again, we'll be able to get a pretty smooth landing again. So the two lights are red and red, which indicates we are too low, but I'm very happy at our altitude, like I've said. So I'm going to keep on going in at this lower altitude, and it looks like the new bit of the airport is coming right underneath us here, so maybe they're building a new terminal here or something that we don't, or that I don't know about. So we are now good on altitude. We're actually going to be too high in just a second, so I'm going to put these spoilers into flight mode so we can apologies, so we can just lose a bit of speed. Now, I'm currently really ill. I shouldn't be recording videos, but I wanted to start videos on the 1st of July, so I sort of forced myself to pre-record a load. So let's go just down a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to have to up our speed a bit because we are dragging just a little bit too much for my personal liking. I'm just going to tilt the aircraft right just a teeny bit, and then left again just to make a little adjustment to line us with the runway. Now I'm pretty happy with our altitude, so I'm just going to slowly increase our speed a bit and flare up the aircraft just a teeny bit. So we are coming in very nicely here, and we are almost at the level we want to be at. So once again, we're just going to tilt up the aircraft just that little bit so we're smooth on line with the runway, and we are floating, which is unfortunate. There we go. But we are still within the touchdown zone, a little bit off centre line, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can just fix that now by coming across the runway and then, you know, veering left a little bit. You know, coming off centre line isn't major, especially if just a little bit off it like we were there. So Hong Kong. So hopefully this landing, it won't be as good, I don't think, as the one we just saw with the A330. But again, you can see us coming in nice and smooth here, and we do that float. So you'll see right here. Oh, we are still actually descending. Oh, okay, that was a good landing. That could be arguably better than the A331. I mean, we're off centre line and we did touch down quite late. How late were we? I mean, we're still sort of in the touchdown zone. Oh, barely in it. But yeah, I mean, we made it. That's the important thing. We made it. So that's alright. And I've just realised something with the tracks. So you can see in the middle here, guys, it's actually just a repeated pattern. So on the middle of the runway, so you've got the two lines here in the middle of the screen, and then you go down a bit, and they just keep reappearing. I thought the whole thing was unique. Weirdly, I never realised that it was just a giant repeated pattern across the middle of the runway. All the runways the same. Let's go have a look. This is something I've never actually noticed, and I've only just recently noticed it. So now I'm going to probably point it out to everyone. The other runway is all the way over here. But it does exist, so that's something. Do they have the same repeated pattern on all the runways? Oh, there's two lines there. It is, wow. Right, so all the runways are the same. Obviously, they would have been the same, but I did not realise that all of the little patterns and that on the runways were matching. That's probably something that not many people would have noticed, or people would just take for granted, but that's very odd. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, please do make sure to subscribe, and yeah, this is the two of the better landings I've probably done in a while. Other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Good night.